You're listening to iLiveUK, changing the way you listen to radio. iLiveUK.
Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Hello and welcome. You are tuned into iLiveUK, changing the way you listen to radio. I'm your host, Miss Law, and this is a platform and an opportunity for you to discuss topics never spoken but often thought of. You can connect with us by contacting us on 0208 638 8503 or all the W's uk.iliveradio.com.
What if we spoke honestly? 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 What if we spoke honestly?
Today's show is about lockdown and isolation. This is an opportunity for us to really think through what it is to be in a situation where you are constantly locked down, unable to do the things that you're accustomed to doing, not able to see the people that you frequently visit or see on a day-to-day basis. Now with me today is Miss Mode, and I'd like to welcome her on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure as always. So lockdown is the subject today, and also we're going to touch on isolation a little bit later. Now, when we think of the word lockdown, we don't really relate it to an everyday living experience. When the word lockdown is used, we think of a documentary, a film, but not everyday living. So when you put that into an everyday life, your life, my life, people who have now been subjected to being locked down, it gives a different outlook, a different feel to being here today. Now, people have had to change the way they do things.
Yeah.
Their thought processes have changed on a day-to-day basis. So my thought is, how have people coped through this whole change of the way that they do things, the way they think about things?
Yeah, from what they were more or less doing before.
Yeah.
But then that could be for a certain percentage of people, because then you can think of people who are necessarily always in lockdown and they don't get to go out at all. So what we're dealing with right now is a normal for them.
For somebody who's accustomed
to it.
Or it's their normality to be in a lockdown situation.
Right, yeah.
So when I think about lockdown, I think of restrictions.
Yeah.
Now, when I say restrictions, I mean, like, for example, we go out on a day-to-day basis. We go to the supermarket freely.
Yeah.
We go to a friend freely. Now, you've been subjected to not being able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, how do you change your thought process? How do you change the way that you cope to deal with that?
I think for majority of people, it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
Because the fact that going out for you is limited, you're going out to just buy whatever necessity things you need, as in going to the supermarket, and that's it. There's nothing of entertainment wise you can go out to anymore.
Yeah.
So I can only speak for me. I'm a more or less homebody type person, so
Yeah.
this lockdown isolation situation is kind of, I can cope with it.
Yeah.
But I know there is days where I do wish certain places were open I can go to.
Okay.
For example, going to the gym.
Okay.
When I've started back going to the gym, but now where you're getting into your momentum and sticking to your days of going in now, it's just suddenly stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say, you know, you can work out at home, but it's not the same, because obviously I see my home as a place to just relax and chill and unwind. Like, I would rather go somewhere else to do my workout, and then I know I can come back home and just relax and chill and just not think about...
Be at one with oneself.
Right.
For me, I've found that the lockdown hasn't really affected me as much as I thought it would have.
Right.
Once again, like yourself, I'm quite a homely individual. So I personally lock myself down anyway.
Yeah.
I like being by myself.
Yeah.
I only tend to go out if I need to go out.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, being in a lockdown situation hasn't affected me a lot.
Right.
I believe it has affected me, because obviously you're doing things because you're in a space for a long duration of time.
Yeah.
It's probably given us more time to do things that we weren't able to do.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, that's the added bonus.
Yeah.
But on a mental status, I feel that a lot of people have been affected by this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Physically as well. You know, you have people who like to, like you said, go to the gym, go and see a friend, you know, do those outward things.
Yeah.
And not being able to do those things can put quite a strain on an individual, especially if you're outgoing.
That's right.
For someone who's not outgoing, then it's not really a major issue, but they may feel the need to want to do what they're accustomed to doing.
Yeah, that's right. No, I was just thinking along the lines as, obviously as adults, there are some who are struggling, but I always think about the young children, because I doubt they've ever been in a situation like that. So the fact that you can't even go to school and be with your friends, and you're just at home with your family every day. Like, I can't imagine mentally what's that's doing to a child. Like, how do they feel? Like, they're probably asking their parents or guardian questions all the time. Why can't I go to school? Why can't I go out and play with my friends? You know, along those lines. Why can't I go and visit my friends or stay over at my friends? Why can't I do those things?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to have that perception from a parent who has children and is experiencing that hardship of actually trying to explain and make that child understand what is actually happening, or what has happened to them that's changed life so drastically. Now, another thing that really springs to mind, because the way that we communicate and the lack of communication that we have had has changed the way that we communicate now.
Yeah, definitely.
For the better or for the worse, I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say. I would say it's a mixture, because obviously for those, I'm just going to reference back to elderly people and those who can't go out.
Yes.
So they may have been used to seeing someone come into their home on a regular basis, and now they don't see them, and they might not even have the means of having a smartphone. They're probably just used to having just a normal telephone and just using that. but I've seen now that there's different charities that have just decided to ask people to donate their old phones that they don't need and give it to some of these elderly people and help them try and teach them a new way of communicating. So they do the video calls, so whether it's the FaceTime or the WhatsApp video calls or whatever means of what app they use to do that, so they can actually physically see the person as well as hearing, you know. So
in that aspect, communication, there has been a lack of communication possibly before lockdown, and now there is a lockdown, or there has been a lockdown, we have found new ways of communicating,
and more.
So we're now using social media on a different level. We're communicating with people probably more than we have been communicating prior to having a lockdown. So in some aspects it's been good, and then in some aspects it hasn't been good, you know. And then when you think about like an elderly person, for example, who is accustomed to seeing her family, that has a different effect on her or him, because now she may be communicating through other means, but that physical being, seeing somebody, seeing someone smile, you know, having a hug, you know, these have a different effect on people. Now, there are struggles with that, and it makes people feel a certain way. So, how does it make them actually feel?
I assume that they're mostly unstable because the whole routine or pattern has suddenly changed. Like, the process of processing that can be hard for that person. You know, maybe they didn't have anxiety then, but now because of this, it's just brought it on.
I mean, my biggest concern with that whole change in communication, that struggle with not having things the way they were, and if you're the type of person that doesn't like change, this can affect you drastically, to the point that you feel a little bit not in touch with everybody. Because changing things or having to change things because you have to is one thing, but making a change because you want to is a different thing. So it will be nice to understand or hear how someone actually feels who has been put in that predicament, that feels they've struggled because they didn't understand social media, they didn't understand the technology, they didn't, you know, because we can, and if you understand something, it's okay, but when you don't understand something, it's a completely different ballgame. You know, you're now out of your comfort zone.
That's right.
And most people have been pushed right out of their comfort zones. You know, things that we were accustomed to doing and know so well in our day-to-day moving around has changed to the point that you have to rethink everything you're actually doing. Now, how do we explain that to those people that are struggling?
It's hard to explain it to them, because you can advise and say these are things that you could do instead, but when you're accustomed to doing something the same way for so long, and then it wasn't a thing of, okay, we're giving you how many weeks until the lockdown. Everything just locked down. So you don't have time to prepare yourself mentally to deal with that. So I feel a lot of people are gonna be struggling with this and have brought on anxiety now to themselves now because of this situation. Because obviously now it's getting a bit more less of the lockdown where you see more people coming out, and now you're able to see family members, but it's still restricted in certain ways.
Yeah. So we've spoken about restrictions, we've spoken about lack of communication, we've spoken about how we're made to feel right now, we've spoken about possible struggles and struggles on a very small scale. What would you say has made you do things different? I mean, okay, we've done things a certain way and now we've decided that way doesn't work anymore because of the change. So what would you say you've changed?
I think for me personally, we live in a city where everything's just rush, everything's fast. I think this lockdown has taught me to take things a bit more slower, and you don't need to rush to do all these things.
Yeah.
You know, it's more for me self-procrastinating a lot as well. Like thinking of ideas and things I can
being creative
with, you know. I wouldn't have thought of those things if everything was back to normal.
Yeah, I think as well, like before the lockdown, we were just on a rate, like on a wheel, just constantly,
just never ending,
just constantly.
Yeah.
You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you go to work, you get home, you're rushing to do this, you're rushing to shop, you hardly seeing anyone. This whole lockdown has allowed us to really reflect on our lives, and take a look at ourselves and see how we can possibly make a change, even though we've been forced to make a change, how we can change the way we do things. It's really allowed us to be a bit more conscious of who we are and the people who surround us, and those people that are important to us. I think the value of friendship and family has rocketed.
Oh, definitely.
You know, the appreciation for, a friend that you didn't get to see, but now you're communicating on a different level. Because it's just changed how pleasant we are.
You look at your life very differently now.
Of course.
Very differently now. And I think going forward, a lot of people are going to really take time out for themselves and really get to know themselves as well.
I think they've had that time as well to get to know themselves, and now they have a different outlook and perspective of life. I think there's a value for life more as a result of that, which, like people who weren't communicating so much, and they've found that so many people they've been close to are no longer here. It's made them really re-evaluate people who are near and dear to them.
Very true.
When I think about lockdown, that's one aspect. The fact that you're isolated from the whole world and from your family. Now that's a different aspect completely. I mean, not being able to move around freely is one thing, but to isolate yourself, and possibly from people within your household, is another ball game.
It is. I know, especially for those who have underlying illnesses, they're high risk. You basically can't see anyone because you have to be that careful because of the underlying illness you have. So I know that is a struggle for a lot of people.
And I believe and I probably feel it's brought a lot of emotions.
Yeah, emotions and the mental toll on the person as well, and those who are suffering.
I mean, like, you have people who are lonely.
Yeah.
They're emotional. They're sad. Quite depressed.
Yeah.
Some people are happy. Some people become very, very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Suicidal. People self-harming. You know, there's a lot of aspects that we need to think about, because even though we as individuals, you and I and somebody else are okay, but it makes you think about other people.
Yeah.
Because as much as you and I are okay, you may have a friend who's going for a completely different emotion.
Yeah.
Struggling. No one to talk to, no one to reach out to, feels isolated, feels vulnerable.
Yeah.
Starts to harm themselves because they feel that there's no one there for them.
Yeah, and also as well, those who are living in like domestic abuse situations.
Indeed. That's
like
correct.
My heart pours out for them, because it's like their way of escape was to be out, or when that abuser was out, they get that time for themselves.
Yes.
But to be isolated and locked down with that person,
is
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
I really
can't put
imagine.
words
Yeah.
to it. It's like they've said, as a result of the lockdown, domestic abuse has
gone up, rocketed.
up, rocketed.
Yeah.
So to think that somebody feels so happy leaving their home to flee something.
Yeah. Could be for like a few hours. Just
a few hours, just to know that they're going to be okay for a few hours.
Yeah.
They're going to live to see tomorrow.
Right.
It's that deep.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite heart-wrenching, because it makes you really look at things through different eyes.
It does. It really does.
Just because you're okay doesn't mean it's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's you personally, but look beyond you. You know, not be selfless, you know?
That's right, yeah.
And it's very important that as much as this has affected us, it's made us have a different outlook on how
100%.
we perceive and how we interact with people.
Yeah.
And I think since having a lockdown, and now they are opening up to allowing us to go places and, you know, see people, I'm finding people a lot more friendlier.
Oh yeah,
because people are actually having conversations with you.
Yeah.
When you think back before a lockdown, people they wouldn't even look you in the eye.
I think they were just more about themselves, and you're just going about your business. Because that's the same with me. I'm not really
just getting on with your
bothered
life.
about this person walking to. I'm just going where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And when I think about the whole isolation thing, I think about people, how it affected people mentally.
Oh yeah, because
and the overthinking of this whole situation, not knowing when it would end. You know, that whole anxious feeling of, oh, you know, I want to go out, I want to do this, I want to do what I'm accustomed to doing, and not being able to do that has a big effect on someone. Yeah. Especially that not knowing when it's going to end.
Yeah.
And every day you go onto a television or you listen to a radio and they're just extending it and extending things to the point that, like, you feel like you can't cope anymore.
Yeah. And sadly, it has led to suicides, you know, which is really sad.
It's very
sad because as I said, when you're accustomed to being out, and if you're someone who's outgoing, to then be not able to do that, plus not see your friends and family, loved ones, like for some people, they can't cope.
Yeah, they can't. They just can't.
They can't cope with it.
No. So thinking about the future, and how will we recover from this, or will we recover?
That's the question.
Or Or do we need to recover is the question also. Because we've now learnt new skills. Now these new skills will either make or break us.
Yeah.
And these new skills will enhance us possibly.
Yeah.
So thinking forward and to the future, do we need to recover? Or do we need to go forward with a new mindset and a new understanding and new skills and new lessons learned to say, okay, I can take that as a reference and I can move forward better, more positive, have a more open mind. So there's a lot of things that we have to think about going forward.
Yeah, I feel going forward with this, you will learn a lot from this lockdown and isolation, depending on the individual anyway. But I feel the majority who, like for myself, who's been creative and been, writing down ideas for different things, I would, as you said, I would have that as a reference, because the lockdown is slowly starting to lift, but it could easily just stop and lock down again. So it's kind of prepared me for if this does happen again, I know what things to put in place and how not to maybe not have my anxiety go through the roof kind of thing to the point where I can't cope no more.
So based on this whole entire lockdown, it's possibly taught us some new life skills.
Definitely.
Survival skills as well.
Yeah.
That I think for most it will be a benefit.
Yeah.
I think that I'm not going to say thankful, because I think that's the wrong word.
Yeah.
But I think we have to really think long and hard about what we've been subjected to.
Yeah.
And appreciate certain things that have come of this.
Yeah.
And how it could have bettered us going forward.
Right.
I say better us because in a way I felt and I feel that we needed to slow down.
Yeah.
I didn't want a pandemic to be the thing, or something detrimental to be the thing to slow us down.
Yeah.
But having slowed down, I believe it's been good for us as people.
Yeah.
Because everyone was racing with no end.
Yeah.
There was no finish line.
No. It was just constant.
It was just constant.
Yeah.
You didn't have time to do the simplest of things. And now, upon reflection of where we are now, from where we've been, you have a completely different outlook on life.
Oh, yeah.
Your values have changed drastically.
Definitely, yeah.
Your value for life, people that you love, people that you care about.
Yeah.
Just people that you probably see on a day-to-day basis that you never really took any notice of.
Yeah.
But now, them just being there means a great deal to you.
Great deal, yeah.
That's just like a neighbour.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, a neighbour you never used to see for years.
Yeah.
And now you feel the need to just knock on that door and say, are you okay?
You're right. Do you need anything? Or, yeah.
Simple things.
Yeah.
But we had those skills before.
Yeah.
But we were so busy, caught up in nothing.
Yeah.
We forgot those skills that we had.
That's
we parked them, and we just kept going constantly, just on that wheel, going, to the point we actually lost our values.
Yeah. So my thing is now, as you said, talking about going into the future with this, with young children, I think with parents, I think they would have to constantly have conversations with them, because we're adults, we can somewhat, to a certain degree, can cope and move on. But I feel with children, because they're young, they're still learning.
Yeah, not understand.
And obviously they're clearly not understanding this whole self-isolation and lockdown situation. So I think it's a thing of where parents and guardians need to constantly have conversations with them, talk to them, say, you know, how are you today?
Yeah.
You know, if you feel a certain way, like, have that, express yourself and have that conversation, but not have it like one time and then maybe next month have that conversation. Have it on a more or less regular basis, so you can find out where your child's mind is at and how they actually really feel. Because some may say like, yeah, you know, I'm fine, but are you really fine?
Yeah, I do believe that as a result of lockdown, the levels of communication have increased. And I think people are more aware, even though you cannot physically see me on a day-to-day basis, you can connect with me, you can communicate with me using other methods.
Yeah.
And I think that has been a great thing for us. Mm-hmm. Because if you only know one way to communicate and you've learned 10 other ways of communicating, things can only get better.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. You know, if you haven't communicated with somebody for a year and now you're sending them a message every day, you've come a long way.
Oh yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And
major improvement.
Communicating is communicating. Whatever method you use, you use. And however it works for you, you can't knock a person for that. At the end of the day, they're doing what they can do within the constraints which they have. Yeah. And this whole lockdown has taught us a lot, to the point that you can be locked down and you can still communicate with the outside world. Yeah. You can be with someone in a room and them not physically be there with you. Yeah. But the affection and that love that you would be accustomed to getting is something that we now going forward need to actually pay attention to. Yeah. Because as much as we're communicating, that's one aspect that's got us through so far. Now being with your family, being with those people that you feel close to, is something you really want. Yeah. You want to physically hug that person.
Yeah, of course.
You know, you want to be affectionate with that person. Yeah. So going forward, I think learning what we've learned, now we need to take it to the next level. Obviously, we're not fully able to go and do as we please. Yeah. But make that effort. Go and see that person. You know, reach out a bit more, because we're always saying that we're unable to, I haven't got time, but you've seen for yourself that you do have time, based on the fact that you've not been able to do what you normally do. Yeah. You've taken a back step, you've looked at your life, you've reflected on everything that's happening around you and happening from there onward. So therefore you do have time. It's how you manage your time.
And it's sorry to cut you in. And it's also interesting that, you know, some people may not see themselves as creatives, but I feel every individual is a creative. It's just to find your niche.
Indeed.
But I feel that a lot of people have been creative and done things that they kept putting off.
Yes.
So, you know, going forward, they need to stay on that track of whatever ideas they want to do or businesses they want to set up 100%. And just to run with it. Even if you've got your 9 to 5, you know, continue to pursue it and stick with it, because you never know, that ideal business can take you anywhere.
Indeed.
You know?
Yeah. I think it's important that obviously what skills you've got so far, what things you've identified about yourself, like you said.
Yeah, and what things you've learned, new stuff.
Yeah, follow through.
Yeah.
You know, this is your opportunity. You've identified certain things. You're able to make a change because you've clearly made the change.
Yeah.
So now follow through.
That's right.
And that's the key. Like, don't always, I mean, there are bad situations in everything, but you need to see the good in a situation.
Yeah.
You need to look at the positive side and shy away from the negative, because there's always going to be things happening around.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be something to stop you in your tracks, to set you off guard and make you lose your train of thought. Mm-hmm. So it's important to know who you are as an individual and stay focused on your journey.
Yeah.
And obviously there will be branches left, right, and then avenues that come along the way, but it's down to you to know where you want to go to.
Yeah.
You know your destination at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think it's going to be an easy run. You're gonna have hurdles. You're gonna have obstacles that are gonna come in your way to prevent you from getting where you need to get to.
That's right.
And that's with anything in life.
Yeah.
Now, thinking about how long I can go on like this is a question that many people are asking themselves.
Yeah.
How long can I carry on like this? Now, there have been changes. They're not drastic changes, but they're changes.
Yeah.
Now, people will gravitate to change for the simple reason they're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So any little change that's made, they're going to gravitate to that.
Yeah.
As little as it is.
Yeah.
And the problem is with that is it's done in numbers, in volumes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're struggling with you're struggling with a change. They've changed something about that change, which given you a bit of freedom.
Yeah.
You gravitate to that in numbers. Situations can do one of two things. Things can get better or things can get worse.
Yeah.
Now, having thought about how long can I go on like this, how do I cope if the situation becomes worse based off change?
I think through our experience so far, for some, we can prepare ourselves for it, but it just depends on the individual. As in, I'll reinstate again, I'm a home person, so for me it wouldn't affect me.
Yeah.
For others, I think they might have to kind of adapt to this happening again and learning what will work for them to cope in a situation like this again.
Yeah. Now for me, it has been an experience being locked down. It has been an experience to the point that as much as I'm homely, it's made me revalue certain things. Mm-hmm. That could be people that I want around me.
Yeah.
People I don't want around me.
Yeah.
People or things that I don't want to be subjected to having to deal with.
Yeah.
So, as much as I'm homely, it's made me reevaluate who I am as a person and what I want and what I don't want in my life.
Yeah.
To the point that I don't feel it's necessary for me to communicate with certain people going forward.
Right, yeah.
And that's not me being selfish. That's me identifying who is with me from who isn't with me.
And what you allow in your space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, as much as I'm not affected, I am affected.
Right.
Because mentally, it's made me revalue who I want around me going forward. I'm homely, I'm contented, I'm not struggling, but I've revalued who I feel is important and who needs to be a part of my life.
Yeah. I think with me, I have those same sentiments, but I've had them already. So, being in this situation now, I know who to not have around me in my energy.
Yeah.
And so this has kind of just made it even more easier.
Yeah, it's kind of like you had headlights, but now you have floodlights.
Oh yeah. So I see.
You've seen it so clearly. It's
Right.
like, okay, I know what I want in my life.
Yeah.
Now, that's quite a small change for you and I, because we're very similar.
Yeah.
Now, for somebody else, they have major changes to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, me and you can probably think what they're going through, what their thought processes are, what they're gonna, how they're gonna, where they're gonna. We just don't have a clue.
No idea. Yeah.
But all we can say to them is, know yourself, know your journey, know your destination.
Yeah, and especially know your worth.
Most important.
Key. Know your worth.
I agree, 100%.
You know. Because there's a lot of people who kind of probably self-doubt themselves and think to have that person will give me that worth.
Yeah.
If I surround or stay with that person will give me... No.
It's about you.
It's about you at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%.
And another key thing is about self-care.
Yeah.
Taking this time to actually look at yourself.
Yeah, your well-being.
What you want for yourself.
Yeah.
And speaking it out.
Not
just to just say it and then that's it. Like, actually believe. Like, I do a thing where I stand in the mirror and say, like, well, I want to learn this and I'm going to learn this.
Yeah.
I will learn this.
That's important, because that's self-growth.
Yeah.
You know, you're aspiring to certain things, you want to achieve certain things, and you're setting goals in your life. Yeah. I think if you aren't setting goals in your life, you're not actually doing anything.
And you've got to have those affirmations.
Of course.
And I would just suggest this, like, you know, getting little notes and having them dotted around your home.
Yeah.
So it's a constant reminder.
Prompts.
All the time. So you look at that and be like, you know, yeah, I am this person. I will do that. I am going to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, when I think about, as much as I'm homely, I think about people who are not homely.
Yeah.
You know, those individuals who feel the need to be out.
Yeah.
And my hat goes off to these individuals, because their struggle must be great.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're not a homely individual and you feel the need to be out of your home, this here right now is a major struggle.
Oh yes, a lot. Yeah.
You know, and to the point that I struggle and I wonder, and I feel for those individuals who feel the need to be out all the time.
Yeah.
And they're subjected to this now, and how are they coping?
Yeah.
Now, they must be spiraling like a yo-yo, up and down, because now you've taken this individual and you've put them in a place, and you've locked them it's like you've locked them in a box.
It's like, for them, their version of prison. Yeah.
My thoughts.
Yeah.
You said what I thought.
It's literally like that, prison for them.
Yeah.
Like, you're just there, the four walls,
yeah.
And that's it. You might have all your, you know, your TV or games or whatever, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same for them to be when they're out and about and doing their thing and socialising.
Yeah. As a result of all that has gone on, we've gone through lockdown, we've thought about and we discussed isolation. The biggest thing has been illness and death.
Yeah.
And how it's affected us, our friends, our family, our neighbours,
Mm-hmm.
or just people that we know.
Yeah.
Now, illness is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
To know someone who is ill, you can prepare.
Yeah.
But when you're hearing of illness in numbers, that has a totally different view, vision, outlook. How do you cope with that? How do you actually deal with illnesses in numbers?
It's going to be hard for you to cope. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be stressful. It's going to be depressing, because the fact that someone who does have an illness and something's triggered that, and you go to hospital and you can't go and see them.
That's right.
You've got to use, as we was discussing earlier, the technology of video calling.
Yeah.
To talk to them. Now, we're not used to that at all. You're used to going to the hospital, sitting down with them for how many hours,
Right.
having conversations, and that's that. Now imagine you can't even go and see your loved one.
That's right.
You've got to be at home.
It's a whole different thought process.
I can't fathom that. Like, to actually physically deal with that. Like, I know someone who's had to deal with that, and I know for me, I could not cope.
It's heart-wrenching.
And then to suddenly now, they've sadly,
got worse.
yeah,
And they're deteriorating.
right,
fast.
yeah,
And you're not able to communicate with that person or have that hug, just
Yeah.
to say I love you, or
hold hands,
simple things.
touch, just to touch,
even just to see,
Yeah.
physically see somebody.
yeah,
Knowing that they're not well,
yeah,
it really hurts the heart, because it's, even though you may not physically go through it,
Mm-hmm.
you feel it for that other individual. Because if you know someone who's ill, you feel the need to be there for them. You
Mm-hmm.
feel the need to see them. You feel the need to check in.
yeah,
Now, when you're not able to do that on the levels that you're accustomed to, that's quite devastating.
it is.
It's a lot to deal with.
As I said, I can't imagine those who have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And it's like those, for example, if they've got their loved ones in a care home, you can't even go
Yeah.
in there and sit down with them for the day.
Yeah.
You've got to either be, sorry to cut you,
Yes.
just to be on the phone, or they're in the care home and you're outside.
Yeah.
I can't, I just
I
can't.
have no words.
I don't have no words, and I can't imagine it.
I really take my hat off to those people
I do.
who are
Yeah.
struggling with that, because that takes a lot of strength. That takes a lot of strength to be able to go through day to day knowing that someone is ill, the possibility you may never see that person again, but just trying to work with what you've got to get you through.
Yeah.
Because every day your thought process is going to be, I hope they're still here. I hope that I'll see them another day. So it's quite taxing.
Yeah.
It makes you feel a little bit heavy in the heart,
It will.
because you just don't know how that individual's coping. You know how you feel if it were you. So how do you relate to that person? How do you communicate with that person who is feeling that void, that emptiness, where they can't see their loved ones who are ill?
Yeah.
The person could be in the same household as you, possibly. But a person could be in a hospital, could be in a hospice, could be wherever.
Yeah.
And you can't actually visit, you can't reach out to them.
Nothing. Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, it is.
And it's, as much as we have to adapt. There are some things we can't adapt to. And it's things like that.
Like that, yeah, definitely.
You know, illness is like, you just want to be there for that person.
Yeah. Because it's natural.
It's natural, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we spoke about illnesses in numbers. We know how to deal with a death if someone has passed away.
Yeah.
We prepare, we apply ourselves, we you know, we're able to go to a funeral.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with death in numbers, that's mind-blowing. Nobody has possibly gone through death in numbers.
Yeah.
On that kind of on a
that
scale.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, not being able to attend a funeral, not, you know, I mean, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, I
you know,
no words for that.
I have no words myself.
No words. Yeah.
But it takes a strong person to get through that.
It does.
I mean, death in itself is hard to cope with, let alone knowing that someone has passed away and you're not able to do anything.
Yeah.
You're not even able to say goodbye.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah. Because of that. Yeah. It's just a lot.
It's a lot to think about and it's a lot to digest, because if you haven't experienced it and you haven't lost anyone, you may not feel that you understand, but you do understand, because we have lost before.
Yeah.
But when you're losing in numbers, it's hard and it's devastating to actually digest.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're hearing people are just passing away,
Yeah.
you just, I'm lost for words.
Yeah.
There are a number of helplines. Obviously, situations have changed somewhat.
Yeah.
Things have got a little bit better.
Yeah.
They're not 100%, but they are a little bit better. There are some helplines. www.mind.org.uk, www.nhs.gov.uk, www.mentalhealth-uk.org. There are a number of other outlets. If you need to discuss, if you're struggling with anything, if you just need someone to be able to hear how you're feeling, there are outlets and lines that you can contact to communicate with people who'll be able to assist you and help you get through whatever you're going through.
Yeah.
There are, remember, you have people surrounding you. Try not to be a stranger to the people that are around you. If you're going through something, it's probably better that you share it with someone than feel the way that you feel on your own.
Yeah.
And try to reach out to people that maybe you've never reached out to before, for the simple reason everyone is going through something.
Yeah.
And even though there's something maybe different from yours, we're all going through something. We're going through some kind of change, some kind of struggle, some kind of just
whatever situation.
Whatever the situation is, there's someone willing to listen.
Yeah. And I would say for those, because there are people who are kind of not shy, but they feel like they're not worth even trying to talk to someone. I would just say, just pluck up that courage and talk. It doesn't have to be your friend or your family or anything like that, but there are organisations out there. And also, if you don't want to talk to your family and friends, you do have the Samaritans as well, and also get in touch with your GP. Yes. Make that call, make an appointment, and then they can advise you and refer you to the relevant counselling services?
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for tuning in today. I'd like to let you know that next up is The Spice of Life with the Baroness. And I'd like to say good night and God bless.
What if we spoke honestly? What if we spoke honestly? What if we spoke honestly?